Hey high levelers, Ray O'Daniel here. I have another interesting video for you here. We're going to continue to work on a sort of a mini series regarding the premium workflow actions inside of Highlevel. This video we're going to be focusing on Google Sheets. Now, again, not everybody uses Google Sheets, but there is a new premium action inside of Highlevel that allows you to do a lot of cool features inside of Google Sheets. I'm going to try to do my best in this video to give you some practical use examples if you're currently utilizing Google Sheets and how you can integrate that with your Highlevel. Before we continue, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please click the subscribe link below. I always appreciate your support. And if you also are looking to sign up for Highlevel, please use my affiliate link. I do get credit for it, and I want to thank you very much for your support. Alrighty, let's get into it. So here we are inside of one of our demo accounts. Now, for the sake of this example, I created this spreadsheet. Not very, I just needed something to show you a Google Sheet. So this is sort of a sales report. That's what this Google Sheet's called. It has a context, first name, last name, company name, the sales associate, meaning the salesperson, a user inside of Highlevel, the sales date of whenever the date happened, and then sales amount. So again, I'm just trying to use that to get some basic data to show you how things work inside of Highlevel. Now, one thing I do want to make sure that you understand is whenever you're dealing with Google Sheets, Highlevel is expecting at least one row of headers inside of your Google Sheets. So the very first row that you get inside of Google Sheets, Highlevel is going to be looking at that row for your headers. So just make sure that you have headers in there. And you see I've got mine sort of centered and bolded and kind of look a little bit more nicely formatted. But just make sure that you have those, because if not, that can kind of mess you up, because Highlevel is looking for headers in there. So let's get back to it here. I'm going to try to set up an example of how to use Google Sheets. Now, there is no possible way in this video I can explain every way that people use Google Sheets, what type of data you're storing, where that data will be stored at, how you utilize it. There's just no way for me to do that. So I'm going to try to do my best to kind of give you several of the examples inside of Google Sheets, what actions you can do, how you can do them, and hopefully that will be enough for you to take that knowledge and then transfer it or apply it over into your use case. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Right now, one of the first things I want to talk about is opportunities. Right now, I do have a sales pipeline here, and I want to show you that there is one person in the sales pipeline, Jane Smith, and I put a value of that person at $200. So whenever you have leads come into your system, I don't have a workflow for that, but typically when you update or put people into your pipeline, there you can put in whatever name you want, whatever company, but you can also put like a lead value in for that. Now, for this example, the lead value for the opportunity is what I'm going to use to update the sales amount inside of the Google Sheets. So I'm going to try to work on this and see if we can get this thing to work and show you how everything is good to go. So one of the things I need to do though is Highlevel does not have a standard place to put sales amount. It just doesn't. So what would be the best way inside of Highlevel to do that? Create a custom field. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just get this custom field created. So you go to settings, go to custom fields. Now for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a field, and this is going to be a monetary value. So it's going to be a sales amount. So I'm not going to use text. I'm actually going to use this monetary function here, and we're going to click next, and I'm going to call it sales amount, or in this kind of case, let's just call it last last sales amount. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to create a custom field, and then every time an opportunity is won, we're going to kick off a workflow and have the lead value inside of the opportunity update the custom field for the last sales amount. That way we have a custom placeholder to at least tell us what was the last amount they bought from you. Now, people can buy, and you might have people come through your pipeline all the time, depending upon your sales process. People might buy one product, they might buy multiple products, but we need some place to store a sales amount, and the custom field is the best place to do that. Now, Whenever we do that, however, every time a contact is to come through your opportunity or your sales pipeline, and let's just say you win and they get moved to a status of wherever they're at to one, you're going to see that we're going to kick off a workflow and then update this custom value to be the last sales amount, to be whatever lead value that particular lead has inside of the pipeline. The problem with that is that the last sales amount will always represent the last sale that you've had to that contact. So if you have one contact and the very first sale was $100, well, and they come through your pipeline again and they buy something for $200, then the workflow is going to kick off and update the last sales amount to be $200. So you only get the last sale amount, you won't get a history of that. So just to kind of let you know, and for right now, I'm just going to put this at the contact record, and we're just going to go ahead and do that. So now we've created a custom field. Now we're going to come over here to workflows. I've already created one of them here, and it's just a simple one. We've got an opportunity status change and move to status of 1. So whenever we win something, what do we want to do? So what we want to do is come here and we want to update the contact record. Update contact record, add field for this. So we're going to come down here and we see the custom fields and we're going to do last sales amount. So it looks like the last sale amount here, we don't get the option to choose any of the values over here. So probably was a mistake on my part to make that a monetary field. So let's go back in here to custom fields. Let's go ahead and delete this last sales amount. My bad on that one. Get this thing recreated. It looks like we are going to have to do just a single line of text for this to make sure that we can pull in the values in the workflow. I'll show you here. Last sale amount, we'll call it the same thing. We'll add it to the contact, but it's just going to be a single line of text. And then when we come back into the workflow and we open up pipeline 1, opportunity still is set to 1. So whenever that happens, what do we want to do? We want to update the contact record, update contact field. We're going to select the custom field for last sales amount. And here we go. So we didn't get this like little tag here last time, and that's kind of interesting. So if we click on this, what we want to do, remember what we said, we're going to update the last sales amount to be the opportunity lead value. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down here to opportunity, and then we're going to just replace it with lead value. So once we do that, we're going to go ahead and click on save action. And that's just going to be, we're going to publish this and we're going to go ahead and click save. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit back and now we're going to move that status of Jane Smith from in the sales pipeline to being 1. And again, I'm trying to simulate your business process. So if somebody were to win, if you guys were to get a customer and you were to go to your pipeline and move the status of somebody into 1, then this would kick off. It would update the lead value to the last custom field that we get created. Then when that happens, we now have that data available to use for the spreadsheet. So for this, what we're going to do is we're going to simply come in here to opportunities. We're going to click on this one right here and just move this into the 1 column. So now that we did that, the lead value has been updated inside of Jane. So if we look at Jane here, we come down here and look at the last sales amount. Notice that the last sales amount right here is now 200. So perfect. So now that sort of was to represent how your process worked. Now that we've got that set up, now we're going to be able to use that value inside of the workflow dealing with Google Sheets. So let's hop in and do that. So let's just assume that they've went through your sales pipeline. Now you have a Google Sheet for whatever reason, this sales report that you generate, and you're going to put in whoever, you're going to put in the contact information for whoever won this and have that execute. So we're going to go through and create a workflow. We're going to start from scratch. Now for the workflow trigger, what is this going to have happen? So whenever this does, if you wanted to, well, there's multiple different ways that you can have this thing happen. You can, most likely what I would suggest is probably executing this inside of the pipeline 1 status. So at the very end, after you update the sales process, we can then call this workflow that will then execute. And I'll show you how we do that here. So I'm just going to call this Google Sheets for right now. And I'm just going to save this. So now I'll call this Google Sheet. We're going to put in some actions here, but let's kind of go back to workflow and look at the pipeline one. So in this one, let's just say that they want the status changed to 1. You updated the contact field information here. Now what you want to do is simply go over here to workflow. And for this, you can simply add to workflow. And we're going to call this Google Sheet. So save this. And now that would be just an easy way that you can simply, at the same step, whenever somebody wins, you can update the contact field and then execute that workflow for that particular person. And that way the contact record stays within that workflow. So whenever you move over to the other workflow, that contact information, that person then gets added to that workflow. So one of the things that we want to make sure of here is that if you're dealing with the pipeline one status, always this is a problem that if you're going to have somebody go through your go through your workflow multiple times, you need to come into settings and you need to say allow for re-entry right here. Okay, allows a contact to re-enter once he's left the workflow. This used to be called allow multiple in sort of the old workflow, but you need to make sure that you update this and save it, because if not, the contact will only go through this workflow once, and the second time they go through the pipeline, it won't work. It just won't execute at all, and you'll be wondering like, what the heck is going on? So always allow for re-entry if you expect somebody to go through this pipeline more than once. So now that we've done that, that's just kind of a helpful tip. Now we can go to Google Sheet and start looking at that. So we don't need a workflow trigger because the pipeline one workflow is going to be calling this workflow. So now what we can do is we can simply go and start looking at some of the actions of Google Sheets. Now, I'm not going to be covering everything that you have in here, but just some of the options that we have here to let you take a look at. You can create a spreadsheet row. You can go and look up a spreadsheet row if you want to go find a particular record and maybe use that value in there to do something with. You can do that. Update a specific spreadsheet row. So if you want to find a specific row, maybe you know a row number, that kind of information. You can update the row using a lookup, and in order to do that, you have to use this lookup function first, and then you can actually delete certain rows. So one of the things I want to make sure that you know of is this update row using lookup, delete row using lookup. In order for you to use these, you have to actually go through and use this lookup spreadsheet row. What this does is it goes to your spreadsheet, finds either a row or a couple of rows, pulls that data back, and then makes that data available to other functions inside of Google Sheet for you to be able to do something with. So right now, what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and just simply do create spreadsheet row initially. And we'll try to see if we can play with a few of these other ones here. But keep in mind, please just, I'm kind of going through this freestyle. So just trying to show you, like I said, there's multiple different ways of how you can utilize this in your business. I have no idea how you want to utilize it. So I'm just trying to give you some examples. So here, I've connected this to my Google Drive. You have to go to your integrations and connect your Google account. And then when that does, it connects to your Google Drive. And that's where I've got this spreadsheet stored. So I'm going to scroll down here to our sales report. That's the spreadsheet that I created here that has some basic data. So I'm going to create I just called it sheet 1. I'm not a very creative person here, so I just left it as sheet 1. Now, one of the things that we're going to do here is just going to say start column. Where do you want to start updating? Okay. Now, I'm just going to update all of them. So I'm going to start at the very first name. Notice on this report, we've got first name over here in the column A, all the way to column F for sales amount. So I'm going to say the ending column. Oh, it's kind of stuck here. There we go. We're going to say sales amount. Now, when we do that, notice we get all of these columns we need to update. Now, remember, when this workflow gets called, the contact information for the person who you just won in the sales pipeline opportunity will now flow into this workflow. So we're going to simply come here. We can use contact first name, contact last name, contact company, all of these good fields that we have in here. So it's very easy to update. Now the sales associate, this could be the user. You just put the user account who's associated with this. The sales date, if you wanted to. So that could be something. It depends upon if you want to look at, maybe their last appointment date, their appointment. You could use a start date or end date for that. If you wanted to, you could do something like right now, and if you wanted to do, something like that, you could just simply put right now date of the workflow as the date of sale. Since it's all executing at one time, it's going to be completely up to you. But for right now, I'll just leave it as today's date right now when it executes. And then the sales amount. So this comes back to the nice custom field that we created, because we do have a last sales amount field now that stores the last recorded sales amount from the opportunity that we just looked at. So right now, if we wanted to, we can come into contact record, scroll to the bottom, go to custom fields, and then choose last sale amount. So whenever we do that, here we are. And right now, this right here, I'm just going to save this real quick. I'm going to publish this and save it. Now, to make this thing work, because I'm doing this in stages here, we're going to have to manually kick off this workflow, because I already fired the workflow for the pipeline one. Remember, we already did that to show you the lead value. Because of that, it doesn't kick this workflow off, so we're going to have to do this manually in stages. So right now, I'm going to scroll out a little bit here, come to notice that we've only got 11 records in here, or to 11. And when we do this, I'm going to go into the contacts. I'm going to go to Jane Smith, who we were working on, and I'm going to manually kick off a workflow. And the workflow I'm going to do is this Google Sheet. And just going to use demo, add to campaign, and click OK. Now, that should have kicked it off and then updated a record inside of our Google Sheets. But before I forget, because this is going to damage and mess up my presentation here, I'm going to come back into Google Sheets real quick, go to settings, and make sure I allow re-entry. Okay, remember, I didn't do that. So if we do this update and run the same thing again for most people, then that's going to be a problem. So if we come over here, and now we see we only had 11 records before. So right now, if we I am experiencing some technical issues here with trying to blow this thing up here. Not sure why. So we've got, we only had 11 at the time. So now we see there's another one that's been added, Jane Smith. Oh, that went by fast. Total Relief Massage. We didn't have a user assigned to this one. We should have on this one. We should have put like an assigned user in the workflow, but there's nobody in here for the user assigned to this. But we see that the date was set to today, and the sales amount is set for $200, which was the opportunity lead value that we had. So this is just an example of how you can use the add feature to add somebody into your sheet. So that's one way, and I hope you found that particular thing useful, but I'm going to try to go through and look at some others. So while we're in here, let's take a look. The next thing I want to do is use this lookup function. So lookup spreadsheet row. This is going to be important. So we're going to go back into our Google Drive. Unfortunately, every time you do Google, you have to go back through your account, your Drive, your spreadsheet, and you have to load everything up again. So we're going to go back into, nope, not that one, sales report. We're going to look at sheet 1. Now here, if you look, it says search from the top of the sheet, or you can go from the bottom of the sheet. It's up to you. I'm not sure why you would want to do either one of them, just top down. I mean, I don't really get that, but okay. Nice little feature. So for this now, it says lookup column. So if we look on this, and sometimes this is a little bit, there's a delay here. There we go. So let's just say we want to do lookup first name, and we want to put in, for this, we want to put in contact first name. So maybe we want to look up all the records for the person currently going through the workflow, which in this case is going to be Jane Smith. So now what we're going to do is, this is all the lookup is going to do. Now, if we wanted to, we could say column name is this. We can add a column. We could do another column lookup for it if we wanted to do sales date, and we want to start adding stuff like this. I'm not going to do that here. I'm just simply going to look for all the records for Jane Smith, where the first name is Jane. So I'm going to click Save. And then I'm going to scroll back out, make sure I keep saving my work. Now that we've got a lookup, if we come here, I wanted to show you some other Google Sheet actions. If we come here, now we can look at update spreadsheet using lookup. So if we wanted to, we can go out and find those particular records for that particular person. Then we can update something inside of that record if we want to. So if we do this, if we look at what step, here's the important thing about the lookup. For the lookup, you have to specify what step you want. You can have multiple lookups in here. Okay, so we just created one so far, but you can have 2, 3, 4 lookups or more. You have to tell this step which lookup you want to deal with. What data set do you want to look at? So we only have one, so we want to look here. Now, for this, this is going to be an update. So it's going to be, what do you want to update? What's the starting column? What's the ending column? Now, if we did this, let's just say if we wanted to update just to the company, these are the only 3 columns that we're going to get. So when you do updates, it really depends upon your headers and how you have the sheet organized. If you wanted to come here and update the last sales amount, then you're going to have to go all the way to this column, which means in this, you're going to have to populate all of these values inside of here to update the record correctly. If you do not do this, then the record is going to be blanked out. So let's just say we don't put a company name in here for this one, then it's going to update the record and remove the company value because the company value is going to be blank. The new record is going to delete the company name out of it. So you need to make sure that you put in all the values that you need for this. Now, if we just wanted to go to company name, or let's just say we want to go to sales associate for this one. This would be a good one because remember that last record we updated didn't have a sales associate. So right now, if we want to do the contact first name, we would do first name, last name. Just it's pretty straightforward to do. Company name. Now for the sales associate, we can simply come in here if we wanted to. And let's see with about user. No, it doesn't give us a way to do this. Let's just say, how about this? Oh crap! I didn't mean to do that. That was my bad. I'm on that one here. Ah man, that's gonna suck. I'm not gonna go through all these steps again here. So start column, and we're gonna end column of sales associate. I'm sorry about that one. That's just a little slip. I'm sure you guys have never done that before. Had a whole bunch of work, didn't save it, and next thing you know, you got to do it all over again. So company, luckily enough, we've got all these nice values to choose from so we can update it. Now, for the sales associate, right now we don't have to pick from somebody. We'll just put in here Ray, the man, O'Daniel. No ego in that one. Just let's just say we want to manually put in something and click save action. So we're going to go ahead and click save. Perfect. So now what we want to do is for this one, we've already created a row. We don't want to create it again for this one. So we've already kind of used this one. I'm just going to go ahead and delete this action because I don't want to create another row again. I just want to look a row up and I want to update that particular row. So if we take a look here, notice that this first Jane Smith has the a sales associate of Jane Smith. And then this one is blank. So the whole goal is we're going to be updating the sales associate to a particular value or setting that particular value. And because we've now allowed re-entry, now we can have kick off the workflow manually again for the same user. So I'm going to go to Jane. I'm going to go to workflow. Click this, choose a Google Sheet again, just do demo and campaign. It's going to go through and kick everything off. I'm going to go to my workflow real quick, look at the Google Sheet, look at the enrollment history. Great. So now we see Jane Smith. We just ran it again. Number 3, update spreadsheet using lookup. Perfect. So now if we look here, we look and then boom, here we go. We see Ray the man O'Daniel. Now, notice what just happened. Did it do both records? No, it only did one. So you're going to have to compensate for this. This is where it's going to take some updating. If you have multiple records for this, then you're going to have to get this associated and fixed out. But for this one, it only updated the first record in the list. To this, it didn't update all the records. So that's one of the things that you might have to look at and figure out how you do that. So for this, notice that there's not an update all, but I'm just trying to show you how you can just simply use a lookup, look up a person's name, whoever's in the contact record, and then go through and update the amount. But again, the first record is the only one that it updates. If you want to use other ones, you're going to have to figure that one out here. So I'm going to use the same lookup. I'm going to go to delete this action because we don't want to do this again. I've got a lookup. I'm going to come into Google Sheets. I'm going to delete spreadsheet using lookup. Lookup spreadsheet. Click save. So now what it's going to do, it's going to take that when it executes, it's going to look the person up. It's going to come in through here and delete this. So we're going to come through and kick it off again. So Jane Smith, we're going to kick off the workflow. Demo. I know this is boring, guys. Thanks for hanging in there with me, but just trying to show you what some of these actions do. Now this just takes some time to get set up here, but if we take a look, now look what happened. So this record now is gone. So again, the very first record that got updated, this is what happens, and that whole record is gone. Now, whenever you start doing this, obviously Google Sheets is not going to come in through and make this line disappear. It's just going to be a blank record in your sheet for right now. So that's one of those things. Uh-oh, what did I just do? I didn't mean to delete that. So notice the record got deleted. So the action worked pretty well. It did the lookup, it found the person, and then it deleted the record, deleted the row. So you're starting to see how you can utilize this for your particular business. But this is where, before you start really getting this live, definitely make a copy of your spreadsheet. Do some testing with this. Test it with a demo. Don't test it with live data. Copy that Google Sheet to make a copy of it. Call it something else, demo. Run through some of these scripts. Make sure it performs and does what you're looking for inside of here before you actually do this. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this action. Now let me look at what's next here, what we haven't covered in Google Sheets. So we did create, we did lookup, update specific spreadsheet row. So if we do this, we can come in here and choose the account, My Drive, come in and pick up the sales report again, choose the sheet number 1, enter a row number here. Now, this is where I don't have a good example of how you can utilize this. So with the row example, this is where I don't have a good example of pulling the row number. You can create a custom field and maybe store that customer contact record in the custom field, for the row number to begin utilizing it. But that right there, I don't have a good solution for you. That's one of those things you're going to have to come up with depending on your scenario and update it. So Google Sheets, if we take a look here, and then delete specific spreadsheet row, I'm assuming this is going to be the same thing here with selecting the particular drive, and then it's going to ask you for, what row do you want to delete, what row number. So right now, the row number obviously is going to be a big thing for that. Let me see if we do this. We've got to look up here, and let me look here. Let me see if I can do this on the fly. Jane Smith, we've got row number 12 here. So let me do this real quick here. We're doing a lookup here, spreadsheet row. Let me see if we can do an update contact field. First of all, let me save this real quick. I'm going to go back. I'm going to create a custom field for, let's just do a single line again because we don't want to get messed up again. And we'll put sales report row number. And we'll put this at the contact record. Okay, that's good. So we need a placeholder. We need another value to store that, maybe that particular row number for that particular person. So let's come back into automation, Google Sheets. Now the good thing about this lookup here is that you can now, once you look it up, you can now access the information in that particular row. I just don't know if you can access the row number. I'm on this one. I don't deal a lot with Google Sheets myself personally. I'm just trying to show you, I've been playing with it a little bit, trying to show you how you can utilize it before you get into it, just to show you how things work. But I'm going to update the contact field, and I want to choose the custom field that we've got here. sales report row number. Now from this, if we click on this value here, we should be able to get this Google Sheet lookup. Okay, now the Google Sheet lookup is the data that we just pulled back from the Google Sheet report. Now, if we look at this, we see a row, and let's just see here's the contact first name. Ooh, excellent! So now we have row number. Excuse me. Give me a second. So now we have row number. So from the lookup, we can pull the row number. So that's great. So now if we look at this and click save, we can kind of integrate this, and just to make sure we've got, I'm going to do Jane Smith again, and Jane Smith is row number 12. So for this, we're going to go through contacts, Jane Smith. We're going to look down here and see sales row number is currently blank. Fine, not a problem. We will do this and execute. We're going to use the Google Sheet, use demo again. And all we're looking for is when we go to Jane Smith, we're just looking for the sales row number here, which looks like it did not populate, or maybe it took a minute. Perfect. It just took a minute. So now we see we got that number 12 from there. Perfect. So from the update record, if we go back to automation, let's see if we can fix this. So pipeline 1, so update contact field here. One of the things we see that we've got the workflow. We will not be able to do this yet because we have not inserted the person into this. We haven't updated the Google Sheet yet, so we don't have access to the row number. So we'd have to do this from Google Sheets. And we would have to do this from the create option inside of here, create row. And when we create that particular row from this, come on, select column start. And we went through this whole thing again. I'm just going to click, it's going to make me fill this stuff out. You remember when we went through the create, I shouldn't have deleted that, but after you do the create step for this one, then you can maybe in that, right after that, update a contact record, go through and pull that person's record out and update the custom field for the row number, and then you'd have access to that row number in the future. I can see problems with that, if there's multiple records inside of the thing for the particular customer. But again, these are scenarios which I don't know your specific way of how you're doing it. But the good thing is at least we can get access to the row number. You see, we can come in here and update this to the particular row number. We showed how it worked. And now you could do that in case you ever want to update or delete a row in the future. Now you know what row number is in there and so forth. So guys, I know this isn't an absolutely solid bulletproof video that I created. The goal of this is just to help show you what some of the features are for Google Sheets and the premium actions, how you can utilize this in your business, maybe spark an idea of how you can integrate this from a pipeline, or maybe it's whenever you do the sales calendar appointment and you close, the appointment's over. Did you win the bid? Did you not win the bid? So I just kind of work from a pipeline perspective because most people use pipelines to keep in contact with their leads. And then if you do sale, then just move that lead to a 1 status, and then everything else can execute after that. So if you like the video, click on the like button below. If you want, leave me a comment. Good, bad, or ugly. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm just here to serve you. You guys are the people, reason why I'm creating these particular videos. I am a Highlevel affiliate. If you are going to look to sign up for Highlevel or even upgrade to the Agency Pro plan, please use my affiliate link. I do get credit for it, and I do use that compensation to help keep the channel up and going. So I do appreciate your support. And as always, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please click the subscribe button. But thank you so much for hanging in there with me, and have a great day. Hey, if you're interested in learning more about Highlevel, click on the link below regarding my free Highlevel course. It goes over everything that you need to do to get your account created, get it set up, and get it going in about 2 days. I also, if you sign up with Highlevel with me, I do offer a snapshot as well as a client onboarding course that can be used by your client or even used to train your own team to do client onboarding. I want to thank you so much again, and have a great day.